book lovers, it is G-Swizz here, and I'm here today to talk about all the manga that I would love to read this year. This is a 7 on Sunday topic, and I am the host of 7 on Sunday. I will link the Goodreads page down in the description where you can check it out and you can participate in a topic in the future, or you can suggest a topic. And this week's topic is not just about manga, it can also be about graphic novels or graphic material, comics, it could be any of that. But I've decided to go with manga because manga is technically my primary media when it comes to any kind of like graphic content, I'd say. I'm even getting more into manga than I am in anime or any animated TV shows, movies. I just love manga. This year I want to try a few new things, and some things I do want to keep the same, but at the moment this is the manga I'm planning to read. Some years I do happen to miss some of the manga that ends up on my initial TBR, but sometimes with titles things do go to plan and I end up completing the series, or I end up continuing on with the series. You know, there were some failures from last year, like I didn't end up getting to Inuyasha. I'm pretty sure I put that on my TBR for last year, but I am considering also reading that this year. I just haven't put it on this list. There are a few other failures as well, and I will be mentioning another failure on this list later on. I guess without further ado, let's just get straight in the list, bite the bullet, just do it, so you guys can know my TBR shame when it comes to my manga, but also manga that I'm pretty much excited for. Not all of this is shameful, but let's start with a shameful one. I did end up mentioning Sakamoto Days last year. Volume 1 quickly went out of stock in a bunch of bookstores when it first came out, and I was devastated because I was looking everywhere for Sakamoto Days for months, and then when it finally came back in stock, I just did not have any motivation to read it. But I have found new interest in it now. I've only just purchased the first volume and other parts of the series as well, so there's gonna be a binge read this year. I think I was also waiting for English readers to also hype it up because yes, I knew that Sakamoto Days was very popular in Japan when it first came out. That's how I first heard about Sakamoto Days. I heard it from Joey at the Anime Man. I heard him talk about it initially, and that really excited me. However, I wasn't hearing many more people buzz about the series until recently, where like everyone is now reading it, so I need to get to it. I'm hearing a lot of people say that it's better than Way of the House Husband and it's on par with Spy Family. Personally, I love Way of the House Husband because it's very much slice of life, and that is an honorary mention for this year, but I know I'm going to get to it anyway, so I've put that technically in my mental TBR. I don't really need to display that, but Sakamoto Days I just really want to get to this year, so I'm putting it on a yearly TBR again in the hopes that it will happen. And speaking of Spy Family, Way of the House Husband, Sakamoto Days, I also have Mission Yozakura Family. This series I do want to continue on with. The English volumes for the series are going to be continuing this year, so I do want to prioritize it. I mean, I already had a good time with volume 1, so I have no doubt in my mind that I'm going to enjoy the series. I don't really need to pressure myself with the series. However, in case this does become like the next big hit in terms of anime, I want to say to myself that I read the manga first and I was a manga lover first. I don't know, I just have like that kind of motivation when it comes to this series. I just personally love the spy underground organization genre of manga, so I am happy to continue on with this. So next I gotta read volume 2 and then continue on from there. And yes, speaking of spies, underground organizations, I do want to continue on with the Yakuza Lover series. As I'm filming this video, have not read volume 7. I did also put this on my manga TBR of last year as well. However, this is one of those series that I do very much prioritize because I really love a good, steamy, but action-packed time. And I just really do want to continue on with this manga series because I really want to erase the live action adaptation that just came out. I watched the first 5 minutes of that and I really cannot unsee it. I need to unsee it. Like, look, it's not terrible, but by the standards I held a live action adaptation of Yakuza Lover, it was terrible. I just expected the effects to be amazing. I expected the choreography to be amazing. I expected the editing to do its work, and I expected intensity. I did not get that. It was pretty much just a bowl of cheese. But the manga, it's pretty intense. It is cheesy, but it's also intense. And what I like about the series is that it has something for both romance readers and for those who like the spy underground organization genre in manga. I like this series. I want to continue. And speaking of romance, I have something that is definitely not action-packed. This one is a josei, and I have wanted to read this one for quite some time, but I finally just collected all the volumes. That, my friends, is Everyone's Getting Married. Honestly, I cannot tell you anything about the series except for the fact that I have a feeling it has to do with two people who are struggling to find love and have decided to find each other and to try to make things work out. This is a 9-volume series, so I thought to myself, yeah, it's doable. I find that with some of the joseis I really want to read, the ones I've put on my wish list, some of them have volumes that are either out of stock or out of print, and it's almost impossible to get them back in. Whereas with Everyone's Getting Married, I was kind of lucky. So I hope that I really enjoy the series now that I have all the volumes on my shelf. We'll see how we go. The next manga series I want to read is from the author of Alice in Borderland. I actually wanted to read this one before I read Alice in Borderland, but I had no idea that they were both written by the same author. That, my friends, is Zom 100, Bucket List of the Dead. I have a friend who is currently reading the series and they enjoy it. Zom 100 seems to be a lot more popular in terms of manga hype, but that's because that Zom 100 was the first to be translated into English. Alice in Borderland only took off in English translation once the Netflix adaptation came out. This manga, from what I know, has more hype, but I know nothing about it. I mean, I think it has to do with zombies and the undead and whatnot. And you know what? I do have faith in the story because I very much enjoyed Alice in Borderland. Like, Alice in Borderland is one of my favorite mangas of all time at the moment. So I reckon I'm going to enjoy this one, but I'm not gonna lie, I am nervous about it because I think I'm holding it up to the standard of Alice in Borderland. But I shouldn't, because Alice in Borderland is just incredible in my opinion. But we will see how we go with Zom 100. I do want to try this one out this year. I'll let you guys know whether it is worth the hype or whether you guys should just stick to Alice in Borderland, because I will continuously plug that series on my channel. Yes, the fandom has spoken. Shonen Jump, I know, like, it's an incredible place. It's an incredible place to find something so bizarre, something so hyped. I remember recently I've been seeing on my feed people post memes saying before kaiju number 8 gets very hyped, I was part of the fandom. I've been seeing that. You know what? It has intrigued me. I've seen those memes for kaiju number 8. I saw them for Chainsaw Man, and I mean, I liked and I shared those memes as well because yeah, I was a Chainsaw Man fan before the anime came out. I think Mashal, I also saw the meme with. It's hilarious. I don't know why. The meme intrigued me with kaiju number 8. This is even weirder because kaiju number 8 is not something that I would typically read because I'm not into kaiju and Godzilla that much, whatnot. But this particular manga fascinates me because it follows a character who is essentially a cleaner after these fights. He, I believe, turns into a kaiju. So he goes from being like the loser, bottom of the food chain, to all of a sudden being the top of the food chain. That is what intrigued me. And as I can see, it's very popular amongst Shonen Jump readers at the moment. So should I join the hyped fandom? Maybe I should. We will see how we go with kaiju number 8. I've put it on my TBR for the year. I'll see whether this is just as ridiculous as it sounds, or maybe it might just surprise me in some elements. We will see. But yes, another bizarre Shonen Jump title. I have DanDaDan. I love this series so far. I've read volume 1. This is volume 2. I honestly cannot wait to read volume 2. And I cannot wait to continue on with the series. It is very dark and very mature. I previously said in a video, Shonen Jump has been picking up weird series like Chainsaw Man, and the fact that they also saw DanDaDan and saw the potential, you know, like, I'm not actually even surprised that they picked this up. But this series is rated mature. It's not for readers under 17 or 18. But like, you know, each to their own, I guess. Cannot wait to continue on with the rest of the series and to see how weird it gets. This one is interesting because I picked it up just based on the cover aesthetics. Devil's Candy. Can I tell you anything about this? I know that there's like an academy and I do like the character design. Let me just show you this spread here. That's really cool. I will also show you volume 2. Look at the aesthetic. It's cool. I initially saw a colleague hold this up and I was like curious about it, but this is just one of those manga series where I'm actually just more intrigued going into it blind. All I know is that it has hype and it has really cool yet gross aesthetics and a supernatural academy. Sounds intriguing. It's rated teen plus, so for teens I'd say over 15. This one I've been going like on and off about for the last couple of years, but I've told myself I wanted to attempt reading Platinum End. The thing is, I've heard that Platinum End is disappointing. So Platinum End, if you guys don't know, was written by the same author as Death Note. This was their most recent series. I heard that the anime was disappointing and I heard that the manga was disappointing. I found out why initially, but I completely forgot. I tried to spoil myself for it and yeah, that didn't work because I completely forgot about the spoiler. It just had no significance to me. I don't know. I'm considering reading Platinum End. I think I'm also very much intrigued in the aesthetics of these covers because of the shininess of all of them. Also, Also, I am curious to read something else from the author of Death Note, but I'm trying to understand why people don't like it. Is it because they compare it to Death Note and they expected more? Might find out. So I've put it on this TBR tentatively. We will see though. The second last manga series I'd like to mention in this video today is Ghost Reaper Girl. I read volume 1. I absolutely enjoyed volume 1 and I cannot wait to continue. Ghost Reaper Girl, I'd say, is a cross between Buffy the Vampire Slayer and like the Mortal Instruments. It's got that as well as some interesting kind of Hollywood influences because the protagonist is an actress who is in her late 20s, early 30s, struggling to get a job. But she assumes the title of Ghost Reaper Girl based on a film that she filmed back in the day, like a cheesy paranormal film. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was cheesy, but it was my kind of cheesy. It was my brand of cheesy. Also, the very interesting thing about this series is that the series reads well for English readers because it goes in the regular English format of a graphic novel rather than the typical Japanese style. As you can see, they're not on the same side. The cover is not here, the cover's here. This one will be easier to read based on that. However, it would be weird because I'm used to reading manga the other way. So there's that. The final manga series that I've put on my TBR for 2023 is the Blackbird series. This series I've wanted to read for quite some time. I heard that this was like a dark romance of a shoujo series, and like I love myself a dark fantasy romance, a dark paranormal romance. I love that stuff, and I also want to get more into shoujo. And I mean, box sets, they're really cool, especially when they are one of these Velcro box sets. I mean, look at that. That's incredible. What I like about the set as well is that we also have a art book that goes with the series. This is an 18 volume set, a full set of Blackbird. And I want to read it this year. Can I do it? I don't know. It kind of gives me Mortal Instruments vibes, a little bit of Crave vibes. I like myself a good paranormal series anytime. But this will be interesting because I hadn't heard of Blackbird much until like last year, where I actually went onto the Shonen Jump website and I was browsing shoujo, and then I saw this series called Blackbird. And then I was thinking to myself, that sounds familiar, but that doesn't sound like a shoujo name. I'll check it out. And then I read the synopsis, and then that's how I knew I had to try it. So we're gonna try Blackbird this year. We're gonna see how this goes, and hopefully I like it, or hopefully it's a guilty pleasure of mine. Regardless, I'm here for a good time with all of my manga. That is gonna be it for this video today, book lovers. If you happen to stay till the end of the video, leave me the star emoji. And if you happen to enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet already. Join the amazing community of book lovers. And also, I have social medias. I'm at GSwizzleBooks on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/gswizzle. And finally, I'm at TikTok. I'm at GSwizzle on TikTok if you want to follow me there for some bookish content. I love you, book lovers, and I will see you later. Peace.
Started out with half and I flipped it in a double. Started out with half and I flipped it in a double.